This lesson is the MaxLength, MinLength, and StringLength attributes. The objectives for this lesson are to learn the different character limiting annotations that are available. We're going to use MaxLength to limit the number of characters. We're going to use MinLength to set the minimum number of characters. And we're going to use StringLength to set both at the same time. Let's take a look at adding the MaxLength attribute to limit the total number of characters that can be entered. Open up the product class and locate the product number, and let's set the max length here to be 25. Then for the color, let's set the max length equal to be 15. So there we've added a couple of more data annotations that are going to give us some more validation. So what we need to do is go over to Program.cs, and where we have product number and color, we want to change these to test that max length. So under product number, I put in a very long product name to illustrate the max length property. And you can see color is a very long color name. So both of these should break our data annotation. So let's go ahead and run this. And now we get to see the error messages that come out. The field product, and notice it's product space number. So the default messages also respect the display attribute. And it must be a string or array type with a maximum length of 25. And then the field color must be a string or array type with a maximum length of 15. So there we go. Kind of nice. We've got some really good functionality just by adding these data annotations above our properties. Now let's now take a look at adding the MinLength attribute to force a minimum number of characters to be entered. Go back to the product class. Above the color property, let's add MinLength. The first parameter there is a 3. That is the minimum number of characters they must enter. And then I'm going to go ahead and override the default error message, and I'm going to put in the error message equals to a placeholder 0 must have placeholder 1 characters or more. So if we run this, let's go back to Program.cs, and before we run it, let's just put in a very small color, right? So I only put in 2 characters. So now let's run this. And now you can see color must have 3 characters or more. Now, in case you're wondering, you can come back here. We'll actually eliminate here the error message so you can see what the default error message looks like that we get back from Microsoft. In this case, it's the field color must be a string or array type with a minimum length of 3. I personally think that's a little wordy. Thus, I put in my nice little error message that I have where color must have 3 characters or more. Let's now take a look at using the StringLength attribute to set both a minimum and a maximum number of characters. Back in the product class, above the name, I'm going to add in the string length. So here you can see the string length. Let's go ahead and separate this out so you can kind of see it just a little bit better. There we go. Now we have the string length 50, which is the maximum length, comma, minimum length equals 4, comma, error message. Placeholder 0 can only have between 2, which matches up to minimum length, and placeholder 1 matches up to the 50 characters. Now, if we go ahead and change then our Program.cs, let's go ahead and just take a look at, so we have name coming out incorrectly. So now I'm going to set name to be A. I'll make it a valid product number and a valid color. So now what we should see is product name can only have between 4 and 50 characters. Since I only had 1, it's giving us this issue here. If you want, we could also go back and change this to something like a very long product name used to illustrate the string length attribute. And hopefully, if we run this, we should now see that we get the same exact error message because that happens to be larger than 50 characters. In this lesson, we limited the number of characters using the MaxLength attribute. We set the minimum number of characters using the MinLength attribute, and we set both minimum and maximum length using the StringLength attribute. Coming up next, using the range attribute with numeric and date data.